This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 22 map first impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Great Grandfather's Farm. But before that, this video is brought to you by Matthew Young and Soul Farmer. Thank you for being farm barons. So Great Grandfather's Farm is a map that you can find over the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu. And as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Let me read you some of the description. Welcome to my great grandfather's farm. This is a beautiful and not too big fictional map where you can do farming, forestry, and animal husbandry. This map is based mainly on animal husbandry and agriculture. There are 2 rivers on the map from which you can meet the water needs for your greenhouses or animals. At the beginning, you can explore the map as an owner of an animal farm with 3 agricultural lands. There are many empty areas on the map where you can add anything you want. On the map, you'll find 36 fields, 4 meadows, 1 BGA, various production outlets, forests, additional buildings. Production are available in a grain mill and sawmill, as well as a BGA, oil mill, spinnery. And then also, well, all the DLCs are supported. And also, this map does have 4 required mods. Those required mods are Hall with Cooling Chamber, Salvage Halls Package, Sheds Pack, and VDI Large Storage Halls. Let's go ahead and load on in. Now, in addition to those required mods, we are going to be using the mods we typically use when we look at maps. That is additional field info, additional game settings, animal food overview, field lease, field calculator, precision farming, and straw harvest. I will tell you, if you load this map up in farm management or start from scratch, you will find the main farm is built out exactly how you're going to see it here in new farmer mode. In addition, you do own all of the same starting machinery in all game modes. The only difference is, of course, your bank balance and the fact that you do not own any land. Now, with respect to low-end systems, I was not having any issues whatsoever in maintaining a cool 60 frames per second anywhere I looked on the map, except for when I was looking one specific way, and I will call that out when I do get to that section of the main farm here. Overall, if you are playing this game with a low-end system, you shouldn't have too many issues with respect to maintaining a nice solid 60 frames per second if you have followed my video with respect to graphic settings for low-end systems. We'll go ahead and put a little tick up in the upper right corner for that at this point. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA itself. As you can see, this map is mostly laid out with rectangular or square fields. We do have all the crops available to us in FS22 available on this map. And if we take a look at our lands, we start by owning Farmland ID 1 and 3. Farmland ID 3 includes the main starting farm area and can be bought for $240,680. Farmland 1 includes some animal husbandry areas, as well as 2 fields, and can be bought for $242,000. Now, we do have a BGA on this map. It is located right here. You will need to purchase the BGA in order to own the land. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. This is going to show us all of the viable farmlands, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands include any field or fields, what is included, and then lastly, how much is that farmland going to cost us. We can then go and cross-reference that with the field calculator screen. This is going to show us the specific sizes of each particular field. Taking a look down through this list, you're going to see that we have fields ranging in 1 hectare all the way up to multiple fields in the 5 to 6 hectare size. Let's go ahead and take a look and see how the U.S. soil map is being applied to these fields. Our main starting fields 1, 2, and 3 are a mix pretty much of all the soil types, where fields 1 and 3 are mostly sandy loam with a little bit of silty clay mixed in, and field 2 is mostly loam with a little bit of sandy loam and loamy sand in the mix. A lot of the fields to the north are going to be a mixture of sandy loam and silty clay, whereas a lot of fields to the south are going to take and drop this silty clay and add in loam as far as a field mix. If we take a look at our crop counter, we do have the standard base game crop counter available to us here on this particular map. And if we take a look down through our prices screen, you will see that we do indeed have the ability to sell all of our base game crops. In addition, we do have the ability to sell our eggs, wool, and milk, and our silage, hay, straw, and grass. Now, I wish I could say the same with respect to all of the base game productions, but sadly, we do not have the ability to sell planks on this particular map. Oddly enough, we do have a production sawmill, but we just do not have the ability to sell planks. If you do want to do that, it's likely going to be that you need to also put down a carpentry shop so you can further process those planks into furniture and sell that, or put your own sell point down in order to sell those planks. Now, with respect to lime, we do have the ability of buying bulk lime, but what we do not have the ability to do is get rid of our stones. So if you do play with stones enabled, you will need to put down your own stone sell point. With respect to our farm production pack and our washed root crops, we do not have the ability to sell those, nor do we have the ability to sell our platinum expansion production items, sadly, on this map. So if you are going to use that with respect to some of the forestry that is included on this map, you will need to put down your own sell point. With respect to the premium expansion, productions, and crops, we do have the ability to sell those. We do have the ability of getting rid of your separated manure if you are playing with pumps and hoses. And then lastly, if you are playing with straw harvest, we do have the ability of getting rid of our hay and straw pellets. Now we start out with quite a starting fleet, as we can see in this list here. It is all owned, none of it is leased, and is all very well maintained. We have a cow barn and a sheep barn as far as our animal husbandry on the main starting area in New Farmer mode. We do have contracts available on this map. We do not own any production chains, and we also do not have any collectibles. Let's go ahead and take a look at that extensive starting fleet. We start out with the Valtra N175 Direct Small Tractor, as well as the Claas Arion 660, New Holland T6 175, and the Maxim CVX 145. With respect to medium tractors, we have the Massey Ferguson 7726S, the Fendt Vario 724, the Massey Ferguson 7S210, and the Massey Ferguson 6718S. With respect to our harvester, we have the John Deere T560 that is paired up with the 625X grain header. We also then have 3 Rudolph trailers. We have the TDK 301RA, TDK 301RP, and the DK280RL trailers. We have the Cumberland EcoMat plow, as well as the Agromaz POV5 XL plow. We have the Lemken Karat 12500 KUA, as well as the Lemken Samgard 9500K cultivators, and the Amazon Cento 4000 Super. For our disc harrow option, we have the Horse Joker 4CT. For our power harrows, we have a pair of HR 4040 power harrows. We have the Pollinger TerraSim C6F seeder and the Venta 4030 that is typically going to be paired up with one of these HR 4040 power harrows. For our planter, we have the Lemken Azurite 9. We have the Hardy Navigator 4000 Delta Force fertilizer and herbicide trailed sprayer. We have the Amazon ZGTS 10001 trailed fertilized spreader. We have the Manure HTS 16 spreader. That is also going to work with our separated manure. We have the BT130 Schluten and the Spider SP 6834 slurry tanker and applicator. We have the Pollinger Novacat A10 Crossflow butterfly mowers and the Novacat 301 AM ED Pro front mower. The Rapide 580V forage wagon. The Pollinger Impress 185 VC Pro round baler and wrapper combination. We have the Kloss FL 140 front loader arms for our Kloss tractor. For those front loader arms, we have a universal bucket, and we have 4 2,300 kilogram front weights. With respect to mods and DLCs, this map does not have any custom vehicles or implements. Now, as far as our farm tour goes, this is our farmhouse, but we do not have a sleep trigger. In addition, this farmhouse is permanently embedded in the map. so you will not be able to sell it. In addition, as far as things permanently embedded in the map, these two sheds on the other side of this fence also fall into that category. I guess you could think of this as these are historical kind of pole barns that your great-grandfather set up, and you wouldn't dare think about tearing them down. So we have this one over here, and we have this brick structure located right here. Now, as far as all of the other buildings and items on the main starting farm, we do have the ability of getting rid of those. You can get rid of these lights and of this fence that surrounds the entire area. So we have our main silo here. So we have our dump point and our fill point. On the other side of our farmhouse, we have an easy shed with some of our ground work equipment. We've got a storage shed for liquid fertilizer. Sorry about that. Here we have a storage shed for the solid fertilizer. And then we have a bale and a pallet storage. We have a fuel tank. A lot of our machinery is going to be located in these large sheds. Some of your weights. And this is a particular building, and this is going to be the view that I was talking about with respect to seeing frames lower than 40 frames per second on my low-end system. Now, I don't have that issue here on this system, but on a system with, let's say, integrated graphics, you may find if you are standing in this particular position, you're going to see frames at the most at around 45 frames per second. For whatever reason, I kind of took off and flew that direction, if you will, and found that if I got a little farther away from the main farm, then I was able to maintain 60. If I moved forward slightly of the main farm, this also came up to 60. So I kind of got to wonder if maybe it's a result of all of these vehicles and implements that are ultimately basically within this view. Because we have all of these implements here. And in theory, however this shed is set up, if the shed is not set up properly, then the game is not obscuring rendering of these pieces of machinery. And as a result, it may just be a whole bunch of machinery being in one place at one time. Another shed here. We can delete this one. And we can also delete this shed as well. Now, across the street, we have our animal area. This is owned at the start. So we have our slurry point. We have our manure heap. We have a silage bunker. And here we have our sheep. All right, so we have our wool point. We have our food trough. We have our drop off for our sheep. 65 sheep in here. Now this stack of hay bales will remain. Then we have our cows. 45 cows in here. We have our milk. We have our food and straw trigger. And then our slurry trigger as well. Let's go ahead and check our animal food overview. Looks like we've got fairly standard animal feed requirements across all of our different animals on this map. And that is pretty much the main starting farm. Let's get a little of altitude and we'll kind of just look around the main starting farm here, as well as look around the map itself. So here we have part of the main starting farm. Again, the farmhouse and these two buildings on the other side of the fence are permanently a part of the map. Those cannot be sold. Everything else you see here, with respect to what we've seen already on the farm, these buildings and sheds and silos can be sold and cleared out. The round bales are going to remain as well. So with respect to the main farm being customizable, I'm going to go ahead and give the map 3/4 of a point there. The farmhouse isn't that big of a deal because we do have quite a large area here to work with. We can get rid of the fence and expand our working area. We've got one field here. We've got another field on both sides of our animal area that we also own as well. Overall, the vast majority of this map is flat. As was mentioned in the description, there are 2 rivers that run through this map that kind of border the entire northern part of the playable area and split the southern part of the playable area. And then we have a main interstate, or a main road, that basically cuts through the middle of the map. Make our way over here to the east, off the main road here. We do have our vehicle shop. So let's go ahead and check that out. Over here at the main building, we do have our dealer trigger. And we do have those marked out. Then here we have our purchase trigger. Let's go ahead and pick up a Mahindra and just see where our vehicles will spawn. So we do have a rather large area for our starting machinery. As far as getting our starting machinery out of the shop area, we have a very large area here for that to happen. This will be kind of the little pond or lake that is a part of one of the rivers. A bowling alley sell point right across the street diagonally from the vehicle shop. Make our way south on the eastern side. Just below the main farm, we have our southern river. Across the southern river, we have a grain sell point located right here. To the south of that grain sell point, we do have the biogas plant. As I mentioned, you will need to buy the biogas plant in order to make use of it. The activation icon is right there to do so. We have 2 3-sided silage bunkers, and we basically have the Elm Creek BGA here with the 2 digesters. We have our digestate fill point over here on the back. Then our dump point for our slurry is located here on the left. I did try to sell the biogas plant, and while I was successful in earning some money for selling the biogas plant, it didn't go away. So you cannot sell the BGA on this map, nor can you sell these silage bunkers, so you will be stuck with this setup unless you want to go and build out a BGA somewhere else. Now we have on the map a few areas that look like they may be kind of secondary player farms, but these are purely deco farms. We do not have the ability to either buy the land, or if we can buy the land, we do not have the ability to sell the structures on the land, like this particular farm right here. We can buy this, but we do not have the ability of getting rid of these structures. With respect to production being built into the map, there are 5 productions built into the map. As I said earlier, we have a BGA, a grain mill, oil mill, spinnery, and sawmill. So we will begin the map a full point with respect to production being built in or areas set aside for such. Just south of the main starting farm, we do have our grocery, and we do have a sell point around the back of the grocery. It looks like the access to the grocery is pretty much down the same road that separates our farm and our animal husbandry. Big chunk of the southwest portion of the map is just going to be agriculture and deco areas. We're going to have to go all the way north of the river again in order to get to our next grain sell point. In fact, this is actually not a grain sell point. This is the biomass heating plant. So you're going to be bringing wood chips or logs to this particular sell point. Everything else we're going to cover is going to be north of the main road here. We have our forestry area. Down the main road, we have our fuel point. We have our lime buy point. Farmer's market sell point for various crops and productions. Northwest on the map, north of the forested area. This is where we are going to find our animal dealer, I believe. Indeed it is. So we have our animal dealer buy trigger here for our animals and our sell point for the animal dealer for things like silage, hay, straw, grass, bales, pellets, etc. About north central on the map, on the northern side of the map, central, east, and west, we have our flour mill. So we have our dump point along the side. As you can see there, our pallet point and our interactive icon around the front. We then also have our oil mill and our spinnery right next to that. And then we have our sawmill located right here. So our wood saw trigger. We have our pallet spawn point, our interactive trigger, and our wood chip point. And that, folks, is pretty much great-grandfather's farm. So, with respect to the rest of our scoring metric, the ability to sell all our basic crops, animal outputs, and productions, we are missing the ability to sell planks, so we will be taking off a quarter point there. As I mentioned, with respect to the farm being customizable, we're taking a quarter point off because we do have kind of the deco bales here at the animal area, the farmhouse, and those two sheds that are not sellable. Buildings where apparently are using the new texturing technique. These are all Elm Creek buildings, so yes, they are indeed using the new texture technique. And player and interactive areas being clearly marked. I feel that they are. So we're going to wrap this up with a score of 4.5 out of 5 for Great Grandfather's Farm. I'd love to hear what you all think down in the comments below with respect to this particular map. And until next time, happy farming.